Hello, happy Monday again. So, how has Monday been? For some, I think it's been probably a 3-day weekend. Some of you have probably been working, but I hope that your week is off to a pleasant beginning, at least. So, February is in my mind, is the love month because of Valentine's Day. And you could even say because of Black history, right? So that's also showing love for Black history. And so there's all sorts of different aspects of love that, are being celebrated this month. And one thing that I wanted to share, I thought it would be interesting because I found it really interesting, was the etymology of forgiveness. So etymology, if you do not know, is not a common term. So you may not know unless you, studied words, but it means basically the history of a word. So right now during Love Month, I have been working with a small group to do a forgiveness journaling challenge. And it's coming back. If you missed it and you want to sign up, I'm going to be doing this again in April. But what happened is one of the people in the group asked me if I had ever done a breakdown of the word forgiveness. And I thought, that's a really good question. No, I have not. Right? I read books on it. I myself have worked through it, struggled through forgiveness, learning how to do it. Now teaching others how to, go through the process of forgiveness. But I never actually had thought to look up the history of the word. And when I did, I found it very fascinating. And so obviously I shared it with my small group that I am coaching. But I thought that maybe other people would be just fascinated by it, being that it's February and Love Month. In order for us to love ourselves and to love others fully and completely, sometimes there has to be a lot of forgiveness work that we do. Forgiveness for ourselves, forgiveness of people in the past who have hurt us or disappointed us, right? So, forgiveness is, after choosing, in my opinion, after choosing to become a disciple of Jesus, choosing to follow him, choosing to choose God, so to speak, for guidance, I think that after that, maybe the most important thing that we can do is to learn about forgiveness and understand it a little bit better so that we can uh, be successful with it. I know that sounds kind of weird, like forgiveness success, but so that we're not going through life in really dark, long moments of anger and just negative emotions towards ourselves or towards others, right? We want to live freely in life so that we can become and grow into the women and men that we are meant to be. So when I looked up the word forgiveness, it's an Old English word, and I'm probably going to pronounce it wrong because I have actually really never heard it pronounced, but it seems like it is pronounced forgifan, Forgiefan. So that history meant give, ground, allow, remit a debt, pardon an offense. It also means give up and give in, which was interesting to me, the give in part, right? Because a lot of times when someone has hurt us, or we're even angry with ourselves, or we may even be angry with God. Let's just talk about that for a moment, because a lot of people struggle with being angry with God and don't want to admit it because they are afraid their church friends or other Christian friends may be like, oh, what? You're angry with God? How dare you? But it's a thing. Like, people really feel angry with God. And it's important to talk about it and not to shove and stuff those emotions and those feelings off to the side. Just like we have to face the anger and the betrayal or disappointment or whatever it is, rage that we're feeling towards another human or ourselves, it's important for us to also have those tough conversations with ourselves about, like, how do we really feel about God? It's otherwise never going to get to be a better relationship with him any more than we would be able to have a better relationship with ourselves or the other people in our lives, right? So we really have to face that. But anyway, back to the word give in. When we're angry, right, we don't want to give in to someone and give them their way. But the fact of the matter is that forgiveness is really, if you look at it, remit a debt, releasing someone from a debt, telling them that they don't have to pay the debt that they owe us. We're not actually really giving into them. When we release that, it's like an inner release that we give ourselves. You don't believe me? Go Google all of the illnesses that can come about for having unforgiveness. There have been scientific studies done on forgiveness and the lack of it leading to cancer, to heart disease, high blood pressure, all sorts of things that we do not want developing in our bodies. And so actually, really, when we give in to releasing someone from a debt, what we're really doing is giving into ourselves and our future. And that might also be, I don't really know, I wasn't around back in the old days of whenever Old English was written or being spoken, but maybe that's why the word also is, because forgiveness is not just about releasing someone from a debt, it's also about freeing yourself. So there is that also. The other word that I haven't spoken yet about that came up in the history of this Old English word forgiven, maybe, is marriage, which I thought was highly fascinating, right? I have never in my mind or in my wildest imaginations or dreams or anything ever thought of comparing forgiveness to marriage. Now, obviously, I haven't been married, but I imagine that if I was married, I would have probably a lot of things I would have to forgive my husband for, right? I mean, people just get on each other's nerves for different reasons, right? Big things, small things, right? But I was curious. So then I decided to do a quick little word study on marriage, right? What is marriage? Marriage, one thing that it said about marriage is a formal declaration. So when we are forgiving someone, what is that actually meaning? We are making a formal declaration of saying, and sometimes it might be something that, would be good to do, to speak out loud, even if you're not speaking to the person who hurt you, but speaking out loud, so-and-so, their name, I forgive you. Like just speaking it out into the atmosphere, right? Or speaking to yourself, looking in the mirror if you've been angry at yourself and saying, and I had to do that for myself and looking at myself and saying, Beth, I forgive you. Making that formal declaration. If you're angry with God, going to him, being like, God, I've been angry with you, but I know that you have plans for me for a hope and a future, not to harm me. I apologize. I forgive you. So it's like a formal declaration. Also, it's a union. So when we are choosing forgiveness, we are kind of uniting ourselves with a choice, right? A choice is two things, right? So if I get married, it's me and my husband, right? But in forgiveness, it's me and whoever this other person is that I'm angry at. So there is like that relationship. There is that union. That union might be just very toxic. It may be very complicated, right? It may be something that feels irreconcilable, but it is a union of two parties, right? You and whoever that other person is. And when you say, I pardon you, I forgive you, you owe me a lot of debts. You owe me this, that, and the next thing, and the thing after that, right? You owe me all these things. I release you from those debts, right? But there is a union there. You are making that uh, commitment to release the debt between you and that other person. Hello. And also, a marriage goes with leading, to lead, right? So, in the sense of forgiveness, right? What is forgiveness doing? It's leading us into something else. It's leading us into forgiveness. It's leading us into being able to have a healthy life. Because, like I said earlier, when we hold on to a lot of the toxic angers and everything, those things can lead to the high blood pressures, the heart attacks, the cancers, all those things. But when we choose forgiveness, that's not only leading us into freedom in our minds, it's also leading us into physical health, like being able to live healthy. It's also leading us into making new choices, possibly a reconciliation for the relationship, possibly a complete cut off of the relationship, whatever happens after that. But it's going to lead into something, right? So when we're in unforgiveness, there's this like battle of wills, almost like it's like this person is not seeing things my way. I'm not seeing things their way, obviously, because I'm hurt, right? So there's this battle of the wills, and it's almost like we're stuck with one another, and we can't move. But if we choose forgiveness, that's going to lead us into something else, because it's going to break that pattern. There's no longer going to be that like battle of the wills or spiritual battle, so to speak. We're be like, oh, nope, I'm done with this. I break free of this. I give up. Requiring you to pay me back the debt that you owe me. And it leads you into a new type of future, whatever that's going to look like. So, and that's why I found the word marriage being associated with historically in Old English with the word forgiveness, because I think that it does give like a really powerful different perspective of what that really means for our lives and our futures when we choose that. So also, when I did this research, so I have like all these notes because I'm not a linguist, like I don't know the history of words. So also, there is German, somehow German gets in there, not quite sure, but there's this word pie, P-I-E, and Gabah, G-H-A-B-H, which it means to hold, either offering or taking. So that is something that we can do in forgiveness. We can either offer our forgiveness, and the other person can either choose to take it or not, right? And in the Gothic word, it was spelled G-A-B-E-I. It means riches. So when I think of that, like think about all the riches that you could get in your life when you choose forgiveness, right? What are those riches? Well, when you are going to release someone, right? Say it was your mother, say it was your father from something that they did to hurt you. Now you're moving on forward in your life. Maybe you meet new people who are your parents' age, who would be maybe, mentors for you, or, kind of like surrogate parents or whatever. Because you have forgiven your parents and everything, you're going to be more apt to, richly benefit from these new relationships, these new mentors, these new guides that cross your path and that you come to connect with and get to know, right? In your personal relationships, whether it's dating or marriage, right? if we can release the pain, the disappointment, release the debts that those, like past people who have hurt us in personal, romantic relationships, what kind of riches can we get from, our next romantic relationship, our next dating relationship, even if it's just dating, right? And you're dating, several people to try to figure out, whether or not who's compatible with you or whatever, right? There's going to be a new level of richness that you're going to be able to just get for an appreciation of getting to know someone without having your guard up and being like, oh, so and so did X, Y, and Z to me, I don't know if I can trust you, right? And you've got your arms crossed and you're kind of sitting back and you're giving the person side eye. But when you're in a forgiving place, you're more apt to kind of be able to communicate with someone, have fun getting to know new people, right? And just enjoy the richness of whatever those experiences and possible relationships will bring you, with your friendships, also with any relationship, professional relationship, right? When we're not walking in anger, when we're not like looking at everyone thinking, oh, so and so did me wrong, so maybe this person will do me wrong, and we're having all of these trust issues, right? Which do kind of come sometimes with unforgiveness. Rightfully, sometimes. I'm not saying you're wrong to feel, betrayed. Obviously, this is not what I'm saying. But being able to, release someone does help you in all different aspects of your relationships, to just enjoy the riches that they bring better. And then it's nice, right? To sleep at night. That's kind of like wealth, and having, your health, not having health issues because you've been harboring all sorts of anger and, all stressed out inside, right? Your health is your wealth. That's like a richness to your life. So I did find that this one form, Gothic form of forgiveness, had a connotation of riches to it. So, yes. So, if you need help, you've been struggling with unforgiveness, like I said a little bit towards the beginning, in April, I'm going to be doing another forgiveness journal challenge. So, please reach out to me. Because it's so important. I know that in my life personally, definitely choosing forgiveness has brought me a lot more wealth in terms of just happiness and joy and peace inside, that's just can't be bought any other way. It's been able to lead me into better feelings about myself, about others, my relationships. So, I encourage you to reach out to me if you are struggling with forgiveness. It's definitely something that I am passionate about helping people with, because I know that it can be a struggle. And I know that sometimes we think we've forgiven someone and we think we've forgiven ourselves, but then something happens and we end up like kind of in a dark place all over again. And that's normal. So, but sometimes, you just need someone to talk to or a little support. So I'm happy to, support you. Just please reach out. Let me know if you are struggling with that. And I hope that the breakdown, the etymology of forgiveness, helped you to see things a little bit differently, gave you new insights into it. I do find it, just like really fascinating what all really the different levels or the layers, so to speak, are for this word. So it's always interesting to study the history of things. So that's all that I wanted to share for this Monday evening. And I wish you a happy and peaceful and successful rest of your week. And I will be back another evening. All right. Peace.